In this video, I'm going to give a quick demonstration of how you would go about inserting three page or post excerpt widgets side by side in an impact template. So let's get started. So in the template options here, first, assuming you want to do like a static home page, you don't necessarily need to use the page content. So first thing we're going to do is just kill the sidebar here, and then bump the content width up so that we end up at a standard width of 960 pixels. You can see right now it's 580, so I think 880 puts us at 960. So this is a standard size or standard width web page. And then in the widget areas, we're going to go ahead and activate the before container. We could also use before content if we want to have our left and right margin in, but for this example we'll just use before container. And then I'm going to save this as just widget. Okay, so the next step, we want to install a plugin that will display the page and post excerpts. I did a little bit of research and found one. So if we go to plugins, add new, I think it's called Super Post and Page. If we search for it, this will connect with the WordPress plugin directory, and this is it right here, Super Post and Page widget. So we'll install this and activate the plugin. Okay, so the next step is to actually get our page in place that we're going to apply this impact template to. So we'll add a new page. We'll just call it widget. Now for this, you don't need to put any content in here because we're going to be using the widgets and possibly impact hooks and other widgets to actually create the layout for this page rather than relying on the WordPress post editor to add content to it. So just so we've got something to start working with, I'll publish it and I'll view the page. I'm opening this up in another tab here so that we can preview it. I need to actually assign the impact template to it. So we want to use impact for this page. I'm going to use the widget template, and I'm going to turn off comments and trackbacks just so we've got a totally empty page to start working with here. So if we refresh this, okay, so this is just our bare bones empty impact template ready for the widgets to go into. Now if we go to appearance, widgets, we'll see down at the bottom here, impact widgets appear alphabetized by template name. I did a run through on this before, so that's why this shows widgetized, but we're working with widget before container. And then here's our super page widget. So we just drag this into place, and then this has a ton of options, but the key thing is the page ID. For this example, I'm using, I've got a bunch of like default, I imported a bunch of content. This is like for theme testing. You can get this XML file off of the codex, the WordPress codex for theme unit testing, or you can just, you'll want to use your own posts, but this is just a sandbox. So anyway, I'm going to list all posts because we're going to use a post here. I'll use this layout test. So to get the ID, you just have to hover over the link and then look down in the bottom left corner here. This is in Firefox. So we can see, actually we'll use readability test, and you can see in the URL showing in the bottom left of the screen, it says post equals 358. So remember that, like write that number down. So that's 358. Now if we go back over to our widgets, go down here to the widget template before container and the super page widget, and we want to show page ID 358, and then there's all these options here for like for thumbnails and stuff to match the example that I'm doing this video for from blueglass.com. So I'm going to use the post page title instead of the custom title. We'll save this, and then again, just for the purposes of this example, I'm going to go ahead and just do 3 identical widgets here. So we'll do another one that's 358, and we'll set it to use the post title, save that one, shrink it, grab another super page widget, and then 358 again, check the checkbox, click save. Okay, now let's take a look at what effect that had on the front end here. So we'll see we've just got this, they're all in a row because by default a widget is going to be 100% wide. So this is where we need to start using some custom CSS on our template. So in Firefox I use Firebug for all my CSS testing. In Chrome you can do on Windows like Shift Control I to get the inspector up. That's the same basic thing. So what I'm looking for here is something that I can start styling. So if I use my little inspector gizmo here, this is going to get me into the page source, and I'm looking for kind of the top level. So each one of these widgets is inside an LI element with a class of both widget and my custom page. Now I'm going to want to use this my custom page one. So I'm going to copy that and go back over to my impact template. I can close out Firebug for right now. So we'll go back to the template builder. We'll edit the widget template, show template options, go to the custom CSS. Now all this stuff that's in here by default is just as a starting point for users, but we can just select all that and delete it for now. And since we're styling a class, it starts with a dot. If we were starting an ID, it would be a hash sign, but for something where you're styling multiples of something, that's usually, you want to try to grab a class if you can. And then we'll put our curly brackets in. Okay, so some basic styling for this thing. In the test I did, a width of 292 pixels worked well for the 3 different things. We want them to float left. That'll make them all go side by side with each other. We want a little bit of margin here. So we want a margin left of 20 pixels, a margin top of 20 pixels, and then to make everything look nice and boxy, I'm going to do a text align justify. And then if we go back here and save the template, go back to our tab and refresh. So there you have it. That's just in a nutshell the basic idea of how we get 3 dynamic widgets inside an impact widget area in a template, and then using just a little bit of custom CSS, style it to get the kind of appearance you want. You can do the same thing with other widgets. Like if we were to try to put an image slider in, you could probably put the image slider in the same widget area, or you might want to have it in a different widget area. But then by using Firebug, you figure out, well, what is it I'm styling, and then use some basic CSS to go ahead and give it the layout that you want. And then if I wanted this to be, say, the static homepage for my website, then I would just go in WordPress here to settings, reading, and then under front page displays I would pick a static page, and then the front page would be this widget here. And then on the front end, now instead of just being an individual page, if I go to the URL of this WordPress installation, which is on my sandbox here, just the root URL, and now this is the front page of my WordPress site. So using this basic idea of for impact, use your template as kind of a scaffolding, and then use other plugins that are freely available through the WordPress repository to add functionality like these post excerpt widgets, and then use a little bit of custom CSS to style them and get them to fall in line with each other side by side. So that's the gist of it. I hope this video is helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.